What kind of patches do you currently collect? Hey, ScouterStan. Want to talk a little bit about patch collecting and the different types. There are 3 big types out there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a moment. But I want to personally invite you to join me on the live meeting. The next one coming up is December 4th at 9 Eastern Time. Okay, that's 9 p.m., not in the morning. That's when we do it, and it's so that all the different time zones can tune in throughout the United States. I know that Europe, you'd have to get up really early in the morning. Sorry, but that's my market, and you guys are here. So that's the whole thing. It's crazy. And speaking of crazy, I think it's wonderful that I have people that are financially supporting our channel. That is a great thing. And I want to personally thank you to all of the patrons on Patreon who are donating to our cause. So that's a wonderful thing. Recently, we opened it up so that here on YouTube, you can join. You hit the join button, which is on a lot of different screens throughout the channel. You hit the join button, and you can also contribute financially to the success of our channel. This is a wonderful thing, and it really helps out. And I'm very appreciative of all that you do. Now, the 3 big categories are, the first one is council strips. A lot of people love council strips. They either collect one from every council in the nation, or they will collect all the different variations of their own council. So, and there's a lot of different things there. In fact, let me move over. I'm going to put one up here. There we go. This is a patch from my local council, and it has changed over time. The Central Florida Council has many different variations, and there are people that just collect all the different kinds, the old ones, the red and white ones, all of the different, you name it, okay? So councils that have been around for a while will have many different variations. Some of them are very popular. Some of them commemorate different things. Some are, they do series for different things like NOAC and Jamboree and all the different types of council strips that are out there. It is amazing that so many people collect them. It's a wonderful way to say, I know someone in that council. I know a person that lives in that area. That's the neat thing about council strips. It covers the entire country. That's what's neat. And you can go back. If you're collecting just one variety, you could go back to before they even had the standard shape. You can get the little round ones or the little square ones. You know, it is amazing the history of council strips, or CSPs as the collectors like to call them. Now, additionally, they do things where if it's a contingent going to a Jamboree, there are some people who just collect those, like Jamboree council strips, okay, JSPs. That's something that some collect exclusively. And it really depends what your goals are as far as what you collect. If your goal is to have all of a certain Jamboree or all the Jamborees council strips, that's one thing. This is something that the individual gets to choose, and then they can display them and put them in frames and all that kind of stuff. That's the wonderful thing about council strips. They are amazing. The number 2 that's out there is OA flaps, Order of the Arrow flaps. These things, okay, they are amazing. Every council will have anywhere from 1 to 2, I've seen up to 3, lodges, and each lodge has their own strip. and then they have all the different ones that they can come out with. There's just so many different variations that you can choose from as far as lodge flaps. Now, they don't have to just be the flaps. Sometimes they will put out a flap and a whole set of different events within the lodge that mirror up to the flap. So you got to have the flap and all the different variations. So collectors, you get to choose how deep you want to go as far as what types of patches you want to collect. That's all up to you. And the third big collecting thing is uniforms or patches that go to a uniform. They could be rank patches. In 2010, the National Council put out rank patches with the year on it. To celebrate the 100th anniversary. There was a ton of stuff out there for collectors to get a hold of. And that was true for Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and all the different Sea Scouts and crew, all that stuff. They all had commemorative stuff for that time period. And it was for the uniform. Now, this is the unique thing. Sometimes collectors will fix their sights on collecting a genre, okay, like the 60s. So they will get all the uniform shirts, all the different kinds of uniform shirts, and then they'll get all of the different patches that go on them during that time period. So they can actually, it's almost like reenactment material, but it's current history. These are things that collectors really get into. Making sure that the patches match the uniform shirt. And they collect not just the patches, but the uniform shirt itself. So this is, it can go a little crazy. And I did a video, Patch Crazy, right up there. And then there's a lot of different things. But patches on a uniform are highly collectible. And a uniform literally tells a story. Okay? Another video. Okay, they tell a story. And then some people go as far as even collecting things like rank patches from different time periods, as you can see. And then they really get into the square knots. Square knots are amazing. They tell so much about a scouter's past, and in all the stuff that they've done and learned. That's part of the square knot. Another video. Okay, so you got your homework. If you're into patch collecting, it's a lot of fun. And doing that is a wonderful way for fellowship. Fellowship is a way of meeting new people. You go to an activity or some kind of meetup. That's something you can do. You can actually go there with a pocket full of flaps, a pocket full of council strips, and trade. One for one. That is something that collectors do all the time. And of course, every single one is ruled by the Scout Oath and Law, and every single one ends with a Scout handshake. So that's kind of how this whole thing works with patch collecting. Highly recommend it. Get into it if you're not. Okay, try it out. See if this is something you would want to do. Also, your youth would love doing this too. It teaches, it puts the scouting values in action in an environment where it's just a patch. Okay? So that's the neat thing. It really teaches them the values. It drives it home. It makes it clear. That's the key to patch collecting and trading. There's a lot of different opportunities in your district where you could go to a patch traderie. You know, that's something that's possible. So look into that. It'd be great to take the whole troop in uniform, of course. And a lot of these will start scouts out that are not really trading or really ready for trading. They'll start them out with the basics, and then they'll give them a handful of patches. They're all unique. And they are encouraged to go out and trade. So using that Scout Oath, Scout Law, that is the most wonderful thing. Definitely get into it and do that. And you do so much for your scouts. This would be a great way to really make the whole thing come full circle. So think about that. And of course, I will see you on the trail.